guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mariah, and here on my channel I post university, physiotherapy and lifestyle related content. If you're interested in that, make sure you subscribe, notification bell to all so you never miss a video. Sorry, I'm just trying to put my laptop on a stand because it is a little hot as I'm currently working on my dissertation. Yeah, this laptop stand, honestly, best purchase. I love that it folds up and like it's just so compact. Anyway, that's not what I'm here to tell you guys. Give me a second. Oh, beautiful. Block the shot. Love it. Anyway, so welcome to the channel, guys. I want to talk a bit about my dissertation. As you know, that's the main thing I'm doing right now. I've got a lot of time that I need to focus on my dissertation. Well, not a lot of time. I have a month before my dissertation is due. It's just a lot of stress right now. But I thought I'd come on and give you a bit more context because I realized I've done like, you know, study with me videos and stuff, but I haven't like told you the structure of the dissertation in terms of how the module is run at Birmingham, well, this year at least. So let's go all the way back to last year. So last year, at the start of my second year, while I was on my third placement, so that was October to November, during that third placement, the university, well, the module released, I can't remember how many topics, but a list, like an Excel spreadsheet of different dissertation topics, and you had to pick 10 and rank them. You had to rank 10, put your name next to them, and it was people from my course, so there's 60 of us on my course. There were people from, I think, one of the sports therapy courses, like good 2-3 other masters were all picking from these lists as well. So it was a free for all, like, and because the thing is, each topic at the end of the title, it had, oh, let's say a slot that they're only taking 2 students, or this one's only taking 1 student, or this. So it was legit like a rat race. Everybody was like, I want my first topic. Of course you want your first topic. They range from like sports-based topics to like neuro, respiratory topics where it's like pick your own kind of thing, like a good range to cover everybody's interest. I leaned towards the topics that were either neuro based or mental health based. It may have been biased because I was currently on a mental health placement at the time, but I enjoyed what I was doing, and I'm still on the fence of whether I want to be a neuro physio. Before I was very for sure, but just some things in my life has kind of changed my perspective on it, which I'm not going to go into, but kind of ever so slightly skewed my perspective on whether I want to be a neurophysio. But at the point in time, I was just glued onto neuro. So everything I wanted to do, I was like, if I do a neuro kind of based dissertation, I'm going to enjoy it, which I'm basically doing now, which, well, not basically, I am doing a neuro related-ish module dissertation. So anyway, so we had that spreadsheet, we put our list down on our ranking, and I think it was like, I want to say just under like 3 weeks or so. It wasn't quick, let's put it that way. I didn't feel quick anyway. Maybe it was, maybe it felt like maybe 2 weeks. Let's go for 2 weeks. So 2 weeks later, we then find out who we've been assigned to. They released who we're assigned to, and I was assigned to a teacher who I know and has taught me before, and I was paired with one of my colleagues, my classmates. So I was like, okay, at least it's someone I know, someone I talk to, and at least it's a teacher I know and who have experienced before, because some people obviously have had people that have never taught them before, and they're working with people they've never worked with before, or people who are on different courses, which I imagine probably adds an additional level of stress. Anyway, at this point when you jump on the study, you most likely have to start applying for ethics. I was lucky that I jumped onto a study that the ethics was already already approved. It was an existing study, so it's myself, my colleague, supervisor, PhD student on this one study. So I jumped in a good position. At that point, everybody kind of does their own thing, depending on you and your supervisor. For us, because we were then back on placement, and with placement, if you don't watch my channel regularly, on placement you're always around 2 hours away from your uni. Like within that round, you can be up to 2 hours away. And I've hit the, I don't want to say hit the jackpot, but like I've hit the bell of I get the furthest placements, even though I never announced I had a car. Like yeah, so my third placement was in Northampton, so Birmingham to Northampton. Didn't complain because for me, then driving home on Fridays back down to London, I was halfway already, so it saved me. And then my following placement after that was in Coventry, not far, not like, you know, oh, big inconvenience, but like further out than other people who had been based in Birmingham. And I've only had one placement based in, well, not even in Birmingham, like just outside Birmingham, basically. Like you can easily access it. I only had like one of those placements. The rest I've had to drive for ease, or a must. Anyway, so because we're on placement, dissertation, it was like the process kind of started, but we were a little slower on the starting because our focus is placement. Placement's very intense. That placement was, I believe, 5 weeks. That one was 5 weeks long, and the placement before that was, no, placement before that was 5 weeks long. The one after that was 6 weeks long. So it was like, you know, kind of thing. I may have got that wrong in terms of timing, but one of them were definitely 5 weeks. Anyway, so things kind of took a back burner, and it was like, okay, maybe let's start with some reading. So we started with reading, trying to do the reading around placement, kind of stressful, but hey, let's get it done. So then we come back in, no, I was doing more before January. So in between the time, yeah, no, it was January. So when we came back in January after Christmas, we knew, because we don't have any placement up until we just had a placement in, time is flying by, oh my God. I'm just trying to remember when I was on placement and everything. It's crazy. I just had a placement in March, and that was my 4th placement. The time is just, I can't keep up. But because we knew we had that placement coming up, and we had an additional module start and an assignment for that module and everything, we were like, okay, let's collect as much data, because I had to do data collection, whereas quite a few people on my course I know picked systematic reviews, so they wouldn't have to do data collection, so they can, you know, just do their own thing at their own pace, like in terms of reading and whatever, and don't have to go to the lab. So for us, it was like we set a solid 3 weeks where we're like getting everybody in back to back, doing long days, 9 till 6, like in the labs, being like, let's get this data, let's get this done. We had that done up to the point just before we went on to placement. Again, placement took the forefront of things because placement's very intense. You can do long hours. In my case, I was doing long hours on this placement. I was doing, yeah, let's just say long hours. Can't remember the exact shift. I think it was like 9 till 7 or 9 or 8 till 6, things like that. But like it was like a long day when you impact, like you put the impact of assignments and the impact of dissertation and stress of everything else on top of it. So again, dissertation took kind of a slight back burner, but we knew we were in a good position. Other people are at this point fluctuating. Everybody's in different positions, because what I didn't mention is when we were on well, I was on my 4th placement in December. Some people didn't get a placement before that point, before the list even released in October. When I was on my 3rd placement, some people didn't get a 3rd placement, so they had the list, like a peak of the list before, so they got to pick the topics before, start their dissertation earlier, get that, like, you know, that first roll in, so they weren't just sitting there without a placement. So they did their placement at a later point. I think some of them did it while we just came back from Christmas. Anyway, similar thing also happened on our 4th placement. Some people didn't get a 4th placement, so they were working on their dissertation then. So just to keep everybody busy, keep everybody, you know, on a flow, I think. So yeah, it's a bit all over the place in that sense. Everybody's really different with how things are going. Right now, in terms of submitting things, we don't have to submit anything until next month. So next month, we have to submit the poster, and then 2 weeks after that, it's a hand-in for the actual journal itself. The poster, before it was advertised to be online, but because they're obviously aware of the fact that not everybody's going to be in the country, some people, because we have placement, we have an elective placement right after our hand-in for dissertation. Some people going back home, which is broad for some people going across the country. So it just makes it a little bit difficult for everybody to always be in Birmingham at that point in time. So they've given the option for us to be online for the poster, which I would prefer, but that's something that I have to discuss with my supervisor, whether I'd be in Birmingham or I'd have to be either I can be here in London, but we'll see what happens then. The dissertation hand-in itself is online, which is lovely. I'm happy about that because then I can move out sooner, which works for me just because, like, again, placement and then everything else is just a lot of stress. Things easier if I can organize stuff prior to that point. But one sad thing for me about having a virtual hand-in is that when I was in my undergrad, because of COVID and all that, I wanted to do, you know, I know it's like, it's not important, but like I wanted to do, like, you know, the dissertation hand-in pictures by building, like, yeah, handing in my dissertation, this is awesome kind of thing. Like those little memories that I didn't get in my undergrad, I really want to achieve them now because I don't see me studying again after this. Like, I want to do the whole, like, graduation pics, like actually going to graduation is a must this time. I didn't go before because of COVID. I want to do the dissertation hand-in pictures, didn't do it because of COVID. I feel like I was, like, not robbed, I think, because I got the degree, but like I just feel like there's certain experiences that I want to achieve. But yeah, that's the dissertation breakdown at the University of Birmingham, how we're running things right now. Like I said, I'm like just under a month, and like a day or two will be when I have to hand in the poster. So, you know, slightly stressed out here, but we're going, we're moving. I'm setting myself some deadlines. Just finished up the results section. Moving on to like the meta section. I work really messy. I can't really do the whole, like, I tend to be a bit like, oh, I'm gonna start here, write that, and then, oh, I'm gonna bounce here, write that, and then I'm gonna go back here. But yeah, so I thought I'd give you guys a little bit of insight on like the time frames and things. And yeah, we're in that like last race to the end. I have no idea when we'll find out our dissertation grades. I imagine it will probably be in August after placement, around a similar time when we find out whether we pass a degree or not. So yeah, that'll be interesting. Yeah. I don't know how other universities do things, so if your university does it slightly differently for the masters, let me know. I know it really kind of depends on how placements are like set out, and yeah. Well, if you enjoyed this video, hearing about how the university organizes things, give it a thumbs up, like, subscribe. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye guys.